Omar, what's up, man? Welcome to the SABM podcast.
Hey Scott, thanks for having me on. Really excited to have met you, learn about the organization you put together for networking, and so definitely appreciate you being humble enough to speak with me today.
Yeah, man. Well, we need people that write books and that, can help people with CFO stuff and the network. So it's good to see you recently join the 10X Vets group and excited to have you a part of that and excited for all the value that you can bring to the group. And but here we're here to talk about what you do. And I don't know where you'd like to start, but you've written a book, West Point to Wall Street. And you're also a fractional CFO, and you have a team of fractional CFOs. So I'm excited to dive into that. So wherever you'd like to start, my friend, I'll let you
Yeah.
kick it off here.
Hey, this is great. So we can start with what I'm currently doing from a work perspective. And so the reason why I joined 10X Vets is because I bought into a fractional CFO franchise called Focus CFO, and we have 180 CFOs across our franchise network and some area presidents or franchise owners like myself as well. Me myself, I can do both the area president role and the fractional CFO role. What differentiates Focus CFO from other fractional shops is all of the CFOs in our network have at least 20 years experience. Most have 25 or more, and most have actually held, just like myself, the CFO role at major organizations. And so what you get with us as fractional CFOs is not only do you get our ability to do tactical things, some bookkeeping work, some controller work, but strategic visionaries that can actually help you grow your business, scale your business, exit your business, and think about the next steps in life as well. So there's a few different things that we can do, and that's why we bring an advantage from a focus CFO, fractional CFO standpoint.
Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit. So, I know there's a lot of small business owners out there, and they're maybe not at the point where they can hire a full-time CFO, and so that's really nice to be able to have access to that skill set, that talent, from in a fractional capacity. What And it sounds like, I mean, you're not a one man shop here. It's like you got this whole team
That's
of
right.
CFOs, and so maybe just go. So you mentioned the visionary stuff. You know, what else do you guys provide? Like, walk us through like some of the areas. Like, if somebody needed like help with bookkeeping or my tax returns, or do you get into that, or is that do you have a partner for that, or like what do you walk us through the services that you provide at
Yeah. So
Focus CFO?
so like focus CFO, what we like to say is that we're your guide as you continue to crest the mountain, right? And so if you think about a Sherpa going up Mount Everest, we try to be a guide for the owner to help them make the correct decisions as they're on this path, right? And so when you think about what we offer, there's a few things, right? Number one, if I'm talking to a company and their real estate or their construction or they might be a technology IP shop, I can go to my network and find a CFO that actually has that skill set and has actually built a business, you know, that ties exactly to what the owner wants. So it's not that we plug somebody in and they have to learn how to do, the business segment, right? They may
Hmm.
still need to understand your specific business, but they can bring with them some learnings from a previous life to help that owner. That is the key thing. Second thing, when it comes to like bookkeeping or looking at your accounting, etc., we have CFOs that are experts at those things as well. Or what they can do is help the owner or the leader find a bookkeeper or a CPA that's best for their business. So they can actually help them interview those folks as well, right? Depending on what they need, because even though we can do a lot of those things, it would be a waste of the owner's capital to spend it on a focused CFO, fractional CFO to do bookkeeping, right? Because you can get a
Mhm.
bookkeeper significantly cheaper. But we have the relationships to help you find that bookkeeper. We have the relationships to help you find that CPA, that tax CPA, to find a commercial banker to get you a loan. And we have templates that we can fill out so that you can get that loan, right? And so it's the full gamut of what an in-house CFO would do for your company. Only difference is we're doing it 1 day a week, and we're probably doing it at 1/6 of the cost of having a full-time CFO sitting in the chair.
And so walk us through, well, thank you for explaining that, Omar. And then walk
Mm-hmm.
us through, so there's some different stages that a small business owner probably goes through, right? It's like the first thing is like probably, hey, they hire a bookkeeper and certainly an accountant to do the tax return. At what point would you say that, hey, you think somebody's ready for a fractional CFO? Like, where is this person at, with their business or, you know, um, so if there's people listening that they'd be like, yeah, like my CPA is kind of like been my CFO, for all these years, or since maybe I'm just getting started.
And and
What's
and 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 so Scott, I will say that it depends, but and I know that that's a real kind of like accounting answer, but business come in all different shapes and sizes, right? And it depends on what the business owner is trying to get. So, for example, if there's a business owner out there and that business owner, let's say they have a $5 million business and it's been steady state $5 million. The owner just got handed this business or they just bought this business and they're trying to figure out what levers they can pull to actually grow this business. That's a good time to bring in a fractional CFO because CPAs are great, right? Like I've actually sat down and done some CPA stuff. If you look at my LinkedIn, you'll see what I mean by that. But what CPAs do is they can tell you what happened in the past, right? So CPA is great for looking in your rearview mirror to say, where have I been? What a CFO is going to help you do is figure out where you want to go. And that's a really big difference because what a CFO is going to do is first thing when they get into your shop, they're going to do a 13-week cash flow statement, right? To show you like what cash you actually have on hand so that you don't overextend your business. It's called some organizations have grown too fast and not managed their cash, and it's put them out of business, right? They're going to come in, look at based on the past, make you a 3 to 5 year forecast of where you want to go. But the beautiful thing is, Scott, like for somebody like you, business leader, we're going to come to you and say, Scott, based on your past, we're going to run this 3 to 5 year forecast. We've shown you your 13-week cash flows. If you pull these several levers, this is what's going to happen to your 3 to 5 year model based on what you know, based on where you want to go. What levers should we pull in order to drive the business, right? And so that's something that we can help with. I myself, and I told you, I'm not only area president, I'm also a CFO. I've been helping a business look at a sale process, and the owner wanted to sell. I got with the other area president. He found this business. They wanted to sell. They had some offer from a private equity shop, but the owner just didn't like the offer. And so me and the other area president, we come in, we look at the financials. I do a 13-week cash flow. I do a 3 to 5 year forecast. I segment where the guy's different revenue is coming from. And it became very apparent to us that this gentleman was spending too much time rebuilding homes instead of, which is a big project, big revenue, high profit, instead of spending time going under the home. The difference between spending time on the home versus going under the home is this thing that's called a spouse, right? So whoever the stay-at-home spouse is, when that home is being rebuilt either on the outside or the inside, the spouse is going to have a lot of questions, be stopping to work, or they're going to want to talk to, the head of construction, etc. So you spend a lot of time there, and even though it's a big ticket item, but if you go under the house, no one's going under the house. When was the last time, Scott, that you went under your house to see what it's looking like under there? Right? Been a while, and
Yeah, but
and so he could be turning 5 jobs going under the house, even though it's less from a revenue standpoint, it's more profitable. And so we took some time, reshaped his organization so that it's an under the house business. And now when he gets a contract to build outside the house, he passes that on to some subcontractors, takes his margin off the top, right? And so what it's done is it's led to his business being able to grow 33% from a revenue standpoint and 13% from an EBITDA margin. So it was a 27% EBITDA margin business. Now he's a 40% EBITDA margin business. We're going to run it like that for probably another year, and then we're going to take it back. But this time, we're going to do auction process. And so I've been holding down this guy's data room, financial statements, tax information, financial models, etc., in one place. So when we go to the auction block, we'll put it out there and let the bidders take a look at it, and then we'll pick the best one that's suitable for him to go right off into the sunset.
wow. Yeah. So he came to you with an offer. He said, "Hey, we got this offer. This PE shop wants to purchase this company," and he he needed a sounding board. It sounds like, or some experts to come in and then your recommendation. Like, how did that's a really cool process, I think, because not only did you that's an investment of time, right, to restructure the business, to make it more
Mm-hmm.
profitable, to that's the long play. A lot of people would probably come in and they're like want to come up with the short play so that they can they can get to the sale and then move on to the next
I
client.
mean,
But that was kind of a cool way to approach it, from a long-term perspective.
And I mean, Scott, yeah, you can do that. He could have sold to the PE shop, but what I will tell you about a lot of PE shops is they say we'll offer you 7 times EBITDA, and if your ducks aren't in a row, then they say it's 6 times EBITDA. No, it's 5 times EBITDA. Now, no, it's 4 times EBITDA. So they sold you on this dream, and now you see your dream slowly fading away, and now you get to the point where you're asking them to take your business
Mm.
versus you trying to sell your business, right? Because
Yeah.
they have a way of making you feel um inadequate, right? That's the whole job. How can I get this thing for cheap so that I can do some financial leverage on it, make it more efficient, and then sell it back for twice what I paid for it, right? That's the job of the PE shop, right? So what and if he waits 18 months and then he builds his EBITDA up 13% over on the EBITDA on the margin versus where it was, he's built up his revenue by 33%. Now he's going to go sell that thing by 7 times, 8 times on a higher EBITDA. I mean, that for me, that's worth 18 months, another 2 years to double what I was gonna get from a private equity offer.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious how, like, that insight to, shift your business to under the house. Like, where did that come from? Like, because that's not something, I mean, that's not like in the P&L, like, I don't think, or
It
like,
is,
how did that, or
but
maybe
that's
it
but
is.
listen, man. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, right? Famous quote. And so what happens is when we go look at the revenue and we say, man, like this is great. Like you gave us your full stack of your revenue. So we know that you have a $5 million revenue business. That's great. Where's your money coming from? Do you have this by segment? And if you have it by segment, send me the revenue, send me the expense line, and let me come up with the profitability line. And then let me try to work my magic in terms of the overhead cost and kick them out to the different businesses you have. Like most of your people, are they doing under the house stuff or are they doing rebuilds? And
Mhm.
depending on what they're doing, I'm going to tag them to that area so I can make you your large P&L, but now your large P&L consists of sub business A, sub business C, sub business B, sub
Mhm.
business D, and you can literally look at those sub businesses and tell where you should be spending most of your time and what business may be giving you a lot of revenue, but not a lot of profit, right? And so if you got a business that even though it's giving you less revenue but a higher profit, you should be doing that, and you should be increasing the volume on that if possible. This gentleman, he was turning down under the house jobs to focus on working on jobs on the house, right? Because they were time consuming. And so it's those conversations that we have with the client is, hey man, you got 100 jobs under the house. Like, one, how did you get those? Did you have to hustle to get those? And he was like, nah, man, I have to hustle. I could have done 200 of them. I just don't have enough manpower or enough of my time to go do that. And you say, okay, interesting. Keep that in the back, tag it to the model, and then say, okay, let's just say you shifted your business where you're doing more under the house, less over the house. Now your numbers are looking a lot different. Your margins are a lot more healthier, and your EBITDA has suddenly spiked up. And when a private equity company sees that, then they say, man, we can go acquire several businesses, increase that manpower, and do just under the house, right?
Mhm.
So those are the kind of things that CFOs, the real professional CFO, can help a business owner really iron out and come up with a strategy.
Well, that's pretty cool, and that's really valuable also for the PE shop or the acquirer as well, because you've got a reason behind the strategy. Like, hey, this is why we pivoted, or why we focused on this one area. And then, you know, I don't know if the PE shop, they're certainly really smart guys and gals, but I mean, that's really a great insight that you're then bringing to them on how they might scale the business, or
That's
how they
right.
might
They're
buy.
gonna right.
Yeah.
They're gonna scale the business, do it under housework, and then they're gonna contract out the other stuff,
Yeah.
or just not do it anymore.
Yeah. Or buy a sister company that does, I don't know. That's
Right. Right. Who's ever best at it, that's who they're gonna want to be. Who never does it the most efficient manner, that's where they're gonna go.
pretty cool. Yeah, Omar, that's pretty cool, man. Hey, thanks for walking us through that example. So I think very clearly in that story, I mean, the investment in a fractional CFO, what the ROI could potentially be, for a company that's, at a particular place in their journey. So,
Right.
well, thanks for sharing that. Look, do you want to transition to the book?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious what brought you from to West Point to Wall Street and to, I'm ready to dive into the next topic if you are.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, a lot of people don't know that a lot of academy grads, Air Force Academy, Naval Academy, West Point, Merchant, like you name Merchant Marine, like Coast Guard, you name the academy, and there's several people that work on Wall Street from the academies, right? And so, West Point to Wall Street is really catchy because West Point is an elite institution. Wall Street's an elite place to work. But where I'm really focusing on the book is my journey to mental wellness. And so I wore this vest today, and you can see I got the bull on it. That's got the cadet uh, tar bucket hat on, and what that represents, Scott, is my exterior. Right, I'm tough. I've been to the academy, so I'm smart. You can trust me to run through a wall like a bull to get things done for you. I'm not going to stress you out. I'm going to go do it. Right? A lot
Mhm.
of us, whether we're academy folks or we're corporate folks or we're coaches, we wear this tough exterior. We help our family out, we help our friends out, We support our kids to the utmost. We can always be counted on to make it to that Saturday meeting at the office and then quickly do that and take our kids to a baseball game. We put everybody before ourselves. And this is moms, this is dads, this is a whole gambit of type A personalities that really just always show up. The reason why I wrote this book is because I wanted the people that always show up to know that you're being very unfair to yourself if you're sitting back and you're suffering mentally in silence. You're always asking everybody else how they're doing when you're feeling like absolute, crap. You're always worried about how are you going to make things meet? Is everybody satisfied with the things that you're doing? You always want to get the best things out to your boss, your kids, etc. You got a nice house, everything seems perfect, but inside it's just chaos in your mind, and you're just too scared to open that can of worms and have a conversation with a psychiatrist or a psychologist or a therapist. You're scared to have a conversation with a spouse, your friends, and we don't talk about it uh, often has men, but also as type A women. We don't talk about these things, and then what happens is Omar goes out, commits suicide, and Scott and the rest of my friends just said, "Man, I thought that guy had it all together." Like I just had a conversation with him 2 weeks ago. But the thing that we didn't do when we had that conversation, Scott, we never seriously said, "How are you doing?" No, seriously, how are you doing? Like, tell me about that, right? And so this book, West Point to Wall Street, My Journey to Mental Wellness, is really an edict out to these type A folks. Again, whether you're corporate, military, you're a type A in college, going to medical school, going to business school, law school, it doesn't matter. It's a call out that it's okay to take some time out and get some mental health break, right? So that's what the book's really about, and that's really the call to action, and why I wrote the book.
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of courage, I think, for somebody to that might be going through that. I think that that's a really important step is, it takes a lot of courage to share like what's really going on or like, hey, it's like, everything seems to be kind of going great, but as you mentioned, like inside it could be complete chaos. And so what holds people back or what have you experienced or what gave you the courage? I mean, I don't even know your story or what, where
Well,
what the genesis of the book, where it came from, but I guess how can people have the courage to have a conversation with somebody that, and just ask for help?
right. And so it's definitely like, don't go out there and just write a book, right? And put your whole story out there, right? That's not what that's 100% not what I'm asking you to do. And the reason why people don't tell this story quite often, and mostly you just hear from popular athletes or entertainers, etc., about mental health, is because like they're well funded, right? They don't have to go take another job or go to an interview or have people look these things up, about them. So for me, I was at the point in my career where I bought into a fractional CFO franchise. I'm doing some professor work. I'm actually, about 8 months away from being Dr. Omar Ritter, because I'm getting a doctorate in business administration. Then I was like, man, it's time to put this book out to help people during my second half of life. And the major reason why people never come forward, at least from my perspective, is time. People don't want to take the time out to have that health checkup. And the reason why they don't want to take the time out is because we're all busy. It doesn't matter what you're doing, you can come up with an excuse. not to have that mental checkup. I mean, I talk to a therapist once a week on a Wednesday, and every time, Scott, Tuesday comes around, I'm like, damn, like, do I need to talk to this guy today? What the hell are we gonna talk about? What's he gonna ask me today? And I'm thinking about how I can cancel the call, right?
Hmm.
But it's just like working out and going to the gym. Like, I work out 3 or 4 times a week, but every time before I get to the gym, before I physically get there, I'm thinking of how many things can I do to actually not go to that gym. But once I get there, I get on the treadmill, I get on the elliptical, I start lifting weights. I'm happy to be there. Then I don't care about it. Like it's great. I'm there. Endorphins are flowing. It's the same thing with my therapy. Um, I'm always thinking of excuses not to go. But once I get on the phone and me and my therapist start talking about what's going on, it's actually a time to clear my mind. And I think it saves my wife a lot because she'd have to listen to me complain about all these different things and try to get to the deep rooted problem. She's not my therapist. My therapist is my therapist, number one. And so when the wife comes home or I'm talking to my buddies, we're talking about things that we want to talk about because I've already had that therapy session to get a bunch of things off my chest and take a step back, reprioritize my thoughts, et cetera. Right. So it's time, it's nervousness why people don't sign up. And quite frankly, another thing, Scott, people hate going to the doctor. You know, have a slight pain. You're like, man, I'm gonna go to the doctor. Then they're gonna tell me it's much worse than I already think it is. But if I just tough it out, it'll go away. And it doesn't. It doesn't go away.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't go away. And, uh, I know, especially so, this is a podcast for, people that went to one of the academies. That's our primary audience. And, you think about the training that we had at those academies and the training we had before the academies to even get into an academy, and what we went through, succeed at our sport, to succeed in
Mm-hmm.
school. Like, these soft, I'm going to put air quotes, like soft kind of skills, or like therapy and yoga and meditation. And like, that's the stuff that's like people would say you were weak, I feel like back then or back in the day, or, just like your coach or whatever, would just tell you to toughen it out. Right. And, and on the back burner goes any sort of self-care, like of any sort of like taking time for yourself, type of stuff, right? And so I guess that's, it sounds like that's certainly something that's moved to the front burner for you. For me, you know, I weave that into try to weave it into every day. What is something I can do for myself that maybe people would call me weak? Like, oh, like you know,
Right.
you're you're taking a hot bath or whatever. I don't know, like whatever it is, just to relax or to make yourself healthier. I feel is so important, but it was like just kicked out of us, beaten out of us, like as kids growing up, and certainly at the academies and in the military for sure.
And again, like even fresh out of the academy, like that first job for a lot of us is being in charge of multiple people and caring for their needs, not our own. Like I remember as a second lieutenant, 23 years old, having to go to one of my NCO's house to make sure that him and his wife fed the kid and actually kept the house clean. Like, what the heck do I know about that? Fresh out of the academy, with two roommates where I got 3 meals a day at the cadet mess hall, right? But I'm putting on that face like I'm an elder who's here to help this guy that's probably 12 years older than me take care of his home and his kids. So child services does not pull his kid out of his home. And oh, by the way, I'm doing this after work, right? So this is like 5 to 7 p.m. after work on, every other day. And I got to check up on this guy because my battalion commander told me to.
Hmm.
And that's just who we are. generally speaking, as people, because if you went to the academy, you had plenty of choices for places that you could have gone to school and been very selfish, with your career, your time, etc. But we chose the route or the path less taken. And so with that, it comes a lot of stress, anxiety, responsibility.
Yeah, well, yeah, Omar, I appreciate you sharing that with us and yeah, and excited to learn more about your book, and we'll certainly put a link to it in the notes. Um, what other questions should I have asked or that I didn't ask, or anything else that you'd like to cover about either, your CFO business or about the book before we wrap up today?
Yeah, just regarding the CFO business again, we have very experienced CFOs that are looking to get strategic with you. And again, we can do the tactical. I can roll up my sleeves and do a model with the best of them. Having started my career on Wall Street as an investment banking associate, where I just had to grind out various types of M&A models. So, definitely keep us in mind there as you look to scale, exit, do a employee stock ownership turnover, et cetera. We can help you think through various ways to both grow your business and to exit your business. From a mental health standpoint, I just want to reiterate to the folks listening in because you know who you are, right? You definitely know who you are. And I want you to think about me. Like, I am not a special forces dude, but I am combat arms, light cavalry scout, Bronze Star Medal, Valor Device. Like, so I've been in it, and I'm willing to go in it at any time, for this country. But I realized that I needed to take a knee, and I was fortunate that I did have friends that checked in on me at certain times because I've actually loaded that gun up and thought about, do I want to be here, or would it be easier if I went a different path? And what really hit me over the last few years is I've had several friends commit suicide, very successful guys, seven figure a year folks that are working for some of the biggest companies in the world. Goldman Sachs, Walmart, you name it. These guys have been there, as well as people that had no military time, that were very successful, that were mentors of mine, that decided to end it all because of this disease that needs, like every disease that needs treatment. I mean, people, Scott, like one of the biggest facts about people in medical care is doctors' offices are really empty on Fridays and really full on Monday. And the reason why they're really empty on Fridays, who's like, man, I don't want to be stuck in here on a Friday and just kill my weekend. I'll come back. I'll get through the weekend, see what happens. I'll go to the doctor on Monday. And so that's how we've been handling mental health. I know that I have an issue. I'm gonna get that care when I finally hit rock bottom. But once you hit rock bottom, it's too late. Oh, by the way, what I did want to remind folks of listening to this, because we have a lot of academy grads, a lot of veterans here, is that you need to go and get your VA benefits and get checked in by the VA. This is something that you worked on. This is something that you deserve. So like your disability rating and those things, please go get that done because it's during that process that you can find out things about yourself you didn't even know. Like, for example, I didn't even know that my feet were so flat that running could be a detriment, to my back. And the X-rays showed this. I didn't even know that until I went to the VA and started going through the medical process for my VA disability rating. And so you owe it to yourselves to go. The country owes it to you. to let you have these benefits because you deserve it. And so that's really where I want to end, Scott, is just say, take care of yourself. The country is giving you the opportunity to go get some VA benefits for yourself. And oh, by the way, when you go do this, you're actually taking care of your family as well because as a 100% rated disabled veteran, there's several places that my daughter can go to college for free. So I need to stress about that piece either. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Omar. And what's the best way for folks to connect with you and learn more about what you do?
Yeah, so I mean on LinkedIn, I'm Omar Ritter on LinkedIn. It's good to ping me on LinkedIn. You can also reach out to me at Omar Ritter, just my name, OMARRITTER at gmail.com. And I'll be happy to hop on the phone with you for 30 minutes or more to talk about both mental health and to talk about fractional CFO services and pretty much anything else that you want to talk about as well. Because what I've learned, from folks like Scott, and the reason why I joined 10X Vets is you just never know who you're talking to. You may not need fractional CFO services. You may not even need mental health services, but you may know somebody who needs one or both of those things, and feel free. Let's have a discussion and see how I can help that person uh, in both things.
Yeah. Thanks, Omar. And yeah, great job today. And we'll post a link to your LinkedIn and website and your book in the show notes so that people can reach out and get in touch. And here's to a great finish to 2025.
Yeah, I'm ready to roll out 2025 and roll into 2026 for sure. I'm definitely excited about continuing to build this business and to get the word out there about mental health.